Longlegs. Got to see this one opening weekend. For once, it's been a while. This movie is probably the most hyped up horror movie I've seen in a long time. From its admittedly great marketing to the incredibly positive reviews coming from early screenings, there was a lot going for this movie and it seems like it paid off. It's now one of the highest grossing opening weekends for an independent film like this in a long time. Honestly, it seemed way too good to be true. And that was the case with a lot of other people watching these reviews. Looking over the early screen reviews, things started looking very, very fishy. You had people saying they felt like they needed a shower after seeing it, that the movie was so evil and disgusting it made them feel like throwing up partway through. It was so wild that people started to meme the responses because they were so ridiculously positive. And yeah, it very much goes without saying that this movie in no way lives up to that hype at all. It was built up so much that it just had no chance whatsoever. It's still a good movie, don't get me wrong, but don't go in expecting the most evil, disgusting movie that you've ever seen. That title probably still goes to When Evil Lurks, unless you've seen, like, I don't know, the Human Centipede films? I think as long as you go into Longlegs with the idea that it isn't going to be some gore fest, but instill a slow, wonderfully shot crime thriller with minimal gore and violence, you'll have a good time. The film is pretty tame, all things considered, but it does succeed in providing an unsettling atmosphere and extremely uncomfortable moments. I genuinely try not to fall for hype trap like this, as I feel that it's a good way to get disappointed and ruin an otherwise great movie. Review the film for its content, not what people are hyping up, but knowing the hype is overblown should help tame those expectations a little. But anyway, what is this film even about? And that is a genuinely good question because the marketing and the trailers were so cryptic. It was shipped as like a mystery box, kind of using codes and ciphers for people to figure out, and even getting a billboard featuring a phone number that, if called, had a bizarre and disturbing voicemail from Nick Cage's character.
There she is. What's your name? Little angel? Nice to meet you.
The movie, though, is ultimately about a female FBI agent that may or may not be psychic, being put on a case to solve a series of family murders committed by someone known as Longlegs, who appears to be committing or influencing the acts without ever entering the house, and then leaving cryptic codes behind as clues for the investigators. That's all I can say without spoilers. And if that sounds a little bit like Silence of the Lambs, that's actually by design, but the film is very different, thankfully. There are aspects of Satanism as well, and the idea of losing one's faith with the movie, but the film is much, much more focused on delivering a disquiet atmosphere and providing some gorgeous cinematography, some visual foreshadowing, and a wonderfully bizarre and deranged performance by Nick Cage. Really, he's just so damn good in this role, and he barely has any screen time at all. It's wild, but whenever he is on screen, it feels strange and dirty, even if he's doing nothing like going shopping or screaming in his car along to a rock song. It's just Nick Cage doing it, so it's interesting. It is strange that he isn't on screen more given the strength of the performance, but he definitely makes it memorable when he is. It's one of those moments where Nick Cage's mannerisms and acting just fit the character so well. On the other side, though, we have our second main character in Agent Lee Harker, played by Micah Monroe of It Follows fame. And she's fine. Honestly, I understand the parallel with her being very opposite of Nick Cage, where he's a very big, larger-than-life kind of weird character, but she just isn't given much to do, which is surprising given that she is the lead, but she plays the role fine enough. Harker is an awkward, quiet woman who clearly enjoys her own comfort more than others and has this air of aloofness to her that makes her seem more like a robot than anything else. She's smart, intuitive, but falls into that weird trope with these kind of films where the FBI agent or police officer has some sort of mental thing going on where they're better by themselves and they don't really know what to do in areas where they're not focused on their work. Like, ooh, I'm great at a crime scene, but you put me at a little girl's birthday party, I don't know what to do. Like that kind of trope. You've seen it before. I don't know the name for it. It happens all the time in media. Anyway, that's her for the whole movie. Sometimes it makes sense, like if she sees a traumatic event, but other times it just feels really weird. Like if she's just searching a cleaned up crime scene or something. I won't say it's boring, but it certainly got a little stale. We only see flashes of the true Harker underneath and only in times of high stress, which again makes sense, but in my opinion is just too little. It's still a good performance, the character is just kind of meh overall for me, especially when we have such good varied performances from other characters around her. Oh well, the film was directed by Oz Perkins, who clearly has a vision for cinematography. Seriously, there are some fantastic shots in this that are just so good. He also did the 2016 film I Am the Pretty Thing That Lives in the House, which I haven't seen, but I've heard that it looks pretty, and 2015's The Black Coat's Daughter, which I'm pretty sure I saw a few years ago, but I don't remember much about, but I'm pretty sure that I did not like it all that much. Anyway, he definitely has shown growth with the way he shoots now. There are so many cool shots and scenes in here featuring not only flashes of subliminal images like a black figure with nearly invisible glowing yellow eyes. Oh, I love that visual so much. But there are also visual metaphors and foreshadowing, following a few awesome shots of characters through doorways that only show their legs or have a conversation taking place from another room away. I really like that. There's even a blink and you'll miss it moment late in the movie where a glass door closes, and as it does, if you're paying attention, you can see the reflection of what is supposedly a goat-headed demon or something as a metaphor for the potential of Longlegs' violence. Some seriously good work there, which is actually a trick that's done in a few other movies, most notably The Grudge, I believe. So some serious good work there. I really liked that. However, the movie does have a few issues holding it back, which, yeah, it's gonna happen with movies like these. And I'm not gonna say the hype, though. I'm judging the movie for its merits, not what I thought it was going to be going in, which, thankfully, again, my expectations were tempered a little bit, so... I'm judging it for the content. Okay. The acting, as I've mentioned, is one of the downsides, but there's quite a few moments as well where characters make odd decisions that don't seem to fit their character, like one where Harker just stares horrified as an event unfolds without doing anything until prompted, which, okay, maybe it fits her character, but she's supposed to be this kind of seasoned FBI agent who's still a rookie but knows what she's doing, and I didn't believe that. I didn't feel like her instinct was to freeze, but okay. Whatever. Also, I'm just gonna go right out and say it. The ending sucks. Oh, it's bad. There's all this buildup and mystery, and the ending explains it, sure, but it doesn't do anything to justify the story or even attempt to bring any satisfaction to a conclusion. It just kind of ends with a little bit of symbolism and a character journey fully scripted and ended, but plot-wise, it's annoying as hell. It feels like they ran out of money or tried to go a little too artistic with the ending. It's just really obnoxious. It has more dumb decisions that honestly make absolutely no sense to me. And while it is a little disturbing to watch, I guess, the story had already been explained by that point and we had already seen more disturbing visuals. So there isn't anything else to really do here besides tie up a loose end or two and be a little creepy for the final few minutes. It's admittedly the weakest part of the movie, and that sucks, especially for thriller mysteries like this. The ending kind of makes or breaks the movie, and I can see why people were upset. If I were to make this better, I'd need to rewrite that entire ending. It's a huge mess. I can understand what the director was going for, but it just did not work here. It really needed to be redone. Maybe I'd add in some gore too throughout the film, as there just isn't all that much in general. There is some on-screen violence, but it is very, very minimal. Most violent acts happen off-screen, with just the occasional blood splatter. The movie is more focused on disturbing visuals, like a woman stroking herself with a knife. So a little more focus on the violence would have gone a long way, I think. Otherwise, it's just a fine movie that on paper sounds a lot like Silence of the Lambs, but Clarice Starling, Lee Harker, is not. Also, there's a couple moments where characters will say, "Hail Satan," and man, the deliveries of those two words just felt so forced and out of character for who says it. Just, it really took me out of it. Things like that can be good in context, but here I think it'd be better if Satan was kept being referred to as Mr. Downstairs, which is referred to several times in the movie. And I love that. I think it's just the right amount of cryptic, just the right amount of strange and creepy that the movie's going for, but just out of here going, "Hail Satan," just makes it feel cartoonish in a movie that's not trying to be cartoonish. Stylistic, sure, but not cartoonish.
Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
So, I don't know. Otherwise, I think Longlegs is a good watch overall, and plenty of people would find this movie enjoyable. Just go in knowing that the hype is overblown, and Nick Cage doesn't get as much screen time as he deserves, and that the ending is just kind of meh, but you'll have a good time regardless. Just don't go in expecting an overly violent, disgusting movie. It's just an uncomfortable ride. If you want that, you're gonna get it. Ultimately, Longlegs gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. I was really looking forward to this when I started seeing all the cryptic trailers popping up and all the strange ARG formats. I think that's a wonderful marketing strategy. The marketing behind this movie is fantastic. I don't want to knock on that. I thought it was amazing marketing. Seriously, whoever came up with that, give them a raise, put them on more projects. Really, 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 really good. But the hype, where did that come from? What were they doing to these early reviewers to make them say these grandeur things? Like, it didn't make any sense to me, especially after watching the movie. I'm like, what part of this made you want to throw up? What part of this made you feel like you needed a shower? It's not that bad. I've seen worse just browsing Shudder randomly. There's plenty of worse things to watch that would do that by far. So I don't really know where that was going. But oh well, I don't know. What did you guys think of this movie? Do you think it was just as gross as it is? Maybe it's because of the Satanism aspect, but there are other movies that do that as well. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? After that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day. And if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song I know, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo.